Okay, we are going to take a look at Mentimeter today, which is a quiz and polling application. Just some basics on it. You can write questions which students can then respond to. They do so by either on a computer entering in the website menti.com, which is different than mentimeter.com. Mentimeter is where you as the presenter create your quiz or survey. Menti is where they will then answer the questions. And then they enter in a 5 or 6 digit code and it takes them to your quiz. You can use this asynchronously or synchronously. You can give them the quiz ahead of time, but the quiz only stays open for so many days. You don't have to have an account as a student or as a participant. You just have to have an account as the teacher or the person creating the quiz. I went ahead and put one in. Go ahead and try it out. I'm not 100% sure that that code will work. If that code won't work, I'll either have a new one in the comments or I'll have shared one with you through our Teams course. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to get it in there. Mentimeter is not something I'm particularly familiar with, so it's going to have some rough spots to it, but that is part of the learning process and something you need to know about the tool, right? So hopefully you've had a chance to go there and navigate through that quiz. Let's go ahead and look at what it looks like on my end. Okay, so I have this first slide set up as a content slide. There are different types of slides in Mentimeter. Content is one. You can put in as many content slides as you like in the free version. And then I can decide which reactions I'll allow. So right now I just have heart, so people can tap heart if they like that slide. The question one is a good one though, and so maybe I'll put that in on some of my other slides. Probably not on the title slide though. So that could be a way for students to go through a PowerPoint type lecture and let you know which areas were confusing for them. If you see 8 questions on one slide and 2 on all of the rest, then you know that that one is maybe one that you need to spend some more time. And so that question can function as an informal assessment. What words do you think of when you hear universal design for learning? If you have a chance to fill this out, I think you get to see the word cloud, but I'm not 100% sure. That's something that I'll need to check out for the synchronous versus asynchronous. If you're presenting this live, as people are typing things in, they will show up on the screen, kind of like in Poll Everywhere, if you're familiar with that one. And so those will show up in there. This one is, again, just a content slide, so I'll go ahead and put in the question mark. You should see it on your end when you've taken the quiz. Okay, so I then had a question about like a quiz question. So this isn't a content question anymore. This is a quiz type question. And so instead of content, I'm over here. You have up to 5 quiz questions, and you can do different answer types. You can also have them type in their own answers. So that's for the quiz. And then you get to see the leaderboard slide of seeing how well people are doing. You should have been able to pick a nickname if you were able to get in. I have another quiz question there. I can say which answers are correct. Okay, you can only pick one option, but you can have, as a respondent, you can only pick one option, but there can be more than one correct answer. And then this one uses a spider web to gauge your comfort level with those different domains of UDL. So that was the maximum of my content, or the maximum question types I was allowed. I had a word cloud and a scales. You can only have 2 question slides, 5 quiz slides, which are the ones down here, and then as many content slides as you like. The advanced questions, quick form, is only available in the paid version, and the paid version allows you more options for that. I had gone in and taken this, so that's why you can see some data on that slide, and it's telling me that 1 person has responded to it, so it does tell you that information. Okay, so having done that, let's make one and see how it goes. I don't even have a topic right now. Let's do weather. It's starting to do something outside. Just waiting. Okay, I'll probably put in a title slide first. Slide with heading, weather. what's up with that. Okay, so that'll show up underneath. I'm going to go back to type, and I'm going to choose a different type of slide. I'll add a new slide, and then I can set its content type. So maybe I'll start with a word cloud. That'll be one of my 2 free question slides. And my prompt will be, what does August make you think of? This isn't really limited to weather. Maybe it's a bunch of kids who are not excited about going back to school, or teachers who are concerned about what it's going to be like. I can decide how many words people are allowed to put in, and that'll show up on theirs. The profanity filter allows for several different languages, including ASCII and emoji. And if you mouse over that, it's using the ASCII characters to put in shapes that are inappropriate. So that's pretty robust. That's pretty good there. And then extras would be, you can let the participants submit multiple times so they can keep putting in more words. That's definitely an option. When you go to customize, most of this stuff is hidden behind their paywall. So most of that's unavailable in the free version. For the free version, all you can really do to change the look of your slides is change your theme, which is up there. And so why not do space? That's kind of weatherish. Oh, just kidding. That's a pro theme. The only basic themes are these 2 here, I believe. No, I think I could do this one too. Yeah, if it's got the green star, it's not for you until you're willing to pay. So we'll do pink on that one. Does that update my other slide? Yeah, it does the whole thing. Okay, so then over here, I can do content slides if I want. I can do a quiz competition. So I'm going to make a new slide. We'll do a quiz. I can add more than 3 options, but you only have multiple choice as your format for that. It can have more than one correct answer, as I said before, but people will only be able to pick one. So that's fantastic. Okay, which type of cloud is associated with rain? So let's do cirrus. And no clouds. Okay, and then I'll put my correct answer in there. I'm not 100% sure I spelled that correctly, so I apologize. I can give more or less time to answer, and I can decide whether fast answers get correct points. You can also choose music to have in the background, but there's not a lot of options, and I'm not a fan of either of those songs, so I'm going to skip that one. Okay, you have this learn how to play down here as kind of a refresher to show you what that looks like. And then it automatically puts in this leaderboard slide next that'll show people how they're stacking up compared to their peers throughout the question. So I would use Mentimeter to do a digital slideshow that students would be able to navigate through independently and be able to check their knowledge throughout it. I think that would be the application I would use for it. I don't love how limited the free version is, and it's not super intuitive to me. If someone bought me a subscription, I would probably use it because you can do things like import slides and have a lot more flexibility with the different question types that you have in there. But as it stands, I probably wouldn't spend a lot of time on this one. I might use it. I couldn't see myself using this instead of Google Slides, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But that might not be the situation for you. Maybe you love this. So let's look at some of the other question types. Multiple choice is more for when there's not a correct answer. So having people rank how familiar they are with a certain topic is an example I've seen for multiple choice. We did a word cloud. Open-ended is just they can type in things and they'll show up as those little boxes like you can see there. So that's a good way to activate prior knowledge, to see how people feel at the end of a lecture of what they've learned, those kind of things. Rating scales, so you can put statements in there and have people rate how they feel, ranking items. Image choice. So this is the same as multiple choice except with a picture as well. And then Q&A, you can have them put in questions, and then they can vote on those questions, I believe. Okay, that sounds good. I would click present to present my quiz. And so that changes it into full screen. And it's got no results yet. And I was started on the leaderboard slide. I'm using the arrow keys to kind of navigate through, to go back to the beginning. And so you can just get through that way. There's one other thing I wanted to show. I'm not sure how to end my quiz now, which is not great. So I'm just going to go to a different window and abandon that. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show you to make sure you saw before you make your decision is this inspiration section that's on the menu over here. And this is where you can pull in template questions that are kind of interesting. So there's some that are just general, but then if you go up here, there's this teachers and students one that is sort of targeted for educators. Okay, so you can add these to your presentations. I love this one of, can you think of words that start with a prefix? And like most of the people put in prefix. I love it. I love it. This weekly student reflection one, you can see here that when you give them sliders, they can see how their peers are responding. So those kind of wavy hills in the background are how their peers are responding to that question. And so people who are answering later on are able to see what other people think, which is just something to keep in mind. Okay, so they have some questions there that are good discussion starters or could get you started with one of these projects. All right, that's it. I hope that this gives you a good sense of whether Mentimeter is something you would like to incorporate into your teaching practice or not.